Hey y'all, it's Krypton Critics. I'm here to review the film Samaritan Zatoichi. This film is directed by Kenji Bisumi. Zatoichi, the title character, is played by Shintaro Katsu. Miss Osade, or Sode, is played by Yoshihiko Muta. Uh, Yasabura Kashiwazaki is played by Makoto Sato. Kuma Kichi is played by Akira Shimizu. Sosuke Sasaru is played by Ko Nishimura. And Shinkichi is played by Takuya Fuchikuwa. Now, I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. The entire cast is Japanese, so is the director. This film came out in 1968, clearly after, U.S. military, stopped, intervening in daily life of Japan. So, what United States deemed as, imperial supporting movies, aka samurai films, could be made again. And this is right in time. The main actor Shintaro has played, but before his death, he had played the character of Zatoichi 26 times over a 27-year period, which it makes other actors that play a role for a long time look like nothing. Like even Hugh Jackman, who has played Wolverine for 17 years and been in 9 films. Just compare that to 27 years and 26 films. That's almost I know it's not exact, but that's almost the equivalent of being in a film every year as the same character. That's insane. This is the 19th film of the series made by this director. He wanted a long spanning several film like I don't even saga. I don't know if there's a bigger name for a film series like this, a franchise, I guess. But from what I can gather, it's almost like long episodes of a show, but they're all kind of self-contained. It deals with the same main character, but frequently he'll pop in with new characters. Some characters will come back. You know how it is. People got bread on the table. And since I'm talking about samurai film, I thought it would be very appropriate to show off my samurai sword while I'm doing this review. Now, the whole story is that our boy Zatoichi is a blind samurai. He occasionally will be paid to massage people. He's kind of a bit of homeless, kind of. He just kind of crashes at other people's houses. He start off in this film in part working for a Yakuza. The Yakuza clan is a very small one that he's part of, and it's headed up by Kumakuchi. Kumakuchi starts off just being a asshole to everybody. He was relentless, and he just wanted a reason to kill people. If he would love to offer people money and say why'd you pay me back? It was just like, well, you kind of offered it. I didn't realize that you would try to cut off my head. But a businessman like him don't give 2 fucks about that. He's going to send his men, and he's going to go kill you. The person that gets attracted in this is Miss Osode. Her brother is killed for borrowing some money and not returning it. She even tries to give them the appropriate amount of money after her brother had just been killed, like his body is fresh. Zatoichi, is told to kill him. He just does it because that's his job. Uh, and one hand, you know, the brother just came out and tried to attack. So, it can be reasonably argued that, Satoichi is, protecting his own life. But at the same time, he's scared shitless, and there's a bunch of men trying to come at him with swords. Very early on in the movie, Satoichi plays dumb for everybody around him, except for people that he really knows. But all of his buddies that work for the Yakuza, he tries to act like he doesn't know what's up, or his blindness is, it really sets him back like a normal blind person is. But he's more like Chirrut Imwe or Daredevil, where he is not just your typical blind dude. He can fuck you up, and boy does he. And that's the most badass thing possible, is that he just goes woof woof woof, just slicing niggas up. Nobody is really a test for him until towards the end, because he has a really big fight and he's just tired and beaten the fuck up. But he still holds his own. The movie kind of hints that the girl he's protecting, which is the lady that just lost her brother, he starts protecting her. He starts hanging out at her crib, and she's fighting with wanting revenge, because her rationale is like, well, you killed him, and I'm still not over his death. She tries to kill him in his sleep, but she also pulls back a little bit, because she doesn't want to be a monster and all that, and she feels bad for trying to take someone's life, and that's just not really in her nature. For most of the movie, yes, she is a damsel in distress, but her character in her situation more than make up for that trope. Her whole battling with trying to kill a man that is very responsible in some ways for her sibling's death is beautiful, and the way that they portrayed it and the acting that she puts in it is amazing. Now, it's no surprise the guy who played this character at this point 19 times, has it down packed. I didn't find out until later, but I was just amazed by how much he sells blindness, and how much he sells being a badass and sometimes being goofy. His performance is amazing. While you're watching it, if you're not thinking about it as a film and you're just enjoying, what's being displayed, you start to forget that this dude isn't blind. The actor can fucking see, but he just sells it so well, and even at this time, that's still just amazing. This film has a very popular brothel that Lady Sode starts working at, because she's still in debt to the small boss, Kumakuchi, who is having conflicts. Kumakuchi is having conflicts with, like, even the even bigger boss, who is Sosuke Sarucha. It's kind of like the relationship and power dynamic between Tarkin and Orson Krennic in Rogue One, where they're both bad, but they're both dicks. But one of them starts, you start feeling bad, because they really do work hard, but that's that's not given a bad enough eye, and the guy that's above them just takes that full force and just turns everything on his head because well, I have more money and I have more men, which is like, oh, that damn, make me feel bad for the bad guy. It's not like we go into his backstory, but just that setup is very intriguing, and I'm glad they put that in the movie. It gives a character that could have been just one note completely, and it gives him another dimension. Um, I love every fight scenes. Some of them are shot better than other ones. Towards the end, everything is amazingly done. I love just hearing the sound effects of the sword, cutting up people, because it kind of sounds like a wire being whipped at somebody rather than a katana blade. Also, there's a lot of shots that are hidden, and our subject that we're supposed to be focusing on is in the background. We'll be obscured in some kind of small black shack. Well, the shack is just shadowed, it's silhouetted, or we'll be behind a tree. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. And there's not a lot of jittery movements anywhere. Everything feels supplanted in every shot. Everything is composed. Pretty much everything is composed very well. One of the things that I thought was weird is how many times I laughed. Is because even though Zatoichi turns into this badass, he has a lot of lighthearted moments where he's just a big big goof. Like when he started spitting his orange into his orange peel and just chilling, I laughed because I was not expecting that. How he just steals someone's horse, that was pretty entertaining. He has a good friend that was also working for the Yakuza, but has a lot of problems with it, and he never impressed. What was it? Kumakuchi, because he was a type of guy that wasn't quick with a sword ever. They have pretty good back and forth just between the main character and him. Now it was great to see the forgiveness of Sode, and I think she might love the main character, but I'm glad they didn't go for it, because it's good enough for just a hint, because I felt like that would have been trying to force too much into a movie that's only an hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, overall, this movie is really fun, really entertaining. Even the main villain that we get to, Kashi Wazaki. Sorry if I pronounced any of his names wrong. I really am. He sometimes you never know what his allegiance is. If he just wants to gamble with other people. I mean, literally gambling on on a table with dice. Whether he wants Zatoichi's staff sword, if he wants to help him out, free him, or if he's just looking out for himself, or maybe he wants to take advantage of Osode, because half, or maybe 3/4 of every man in this movie is rapey as hell around Osode. Yeah, when he decides to fight, maybe I need to watch it again, understand more of his motives. But he's a character they put to the side a lot, and every time he would reappear, I'm like, oh hey, it's that guy. But he has very great fight with the main character. I love how the drums start bumping, and how they're fighting in the fog. It's all beautiful and very intense. Yeah, there's more I think about this movie. The more I realize that it is, considering that it's almost treated with these other movies as just one set adventure, but it's an overarching story overall. then this is a good episode. In my opinion, it helps develop some of the characters that we already have, and I would not be objectifying if I found another one in the series, because I don't know how much it matters to watch them in sequence, because they this one no one says like, oh, you remember that time. Nobody does that, so everyone seems like this is a genuine project. Nothing doesn't make it seem like it's not part of the Edo period like it's supposed to be. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of anything necessarily negative, and I can't point to one thing particularly. That's why I'm going to give this movie an A minus. This movie really fun. Just from the first scene with some kids, I thought this was just going to be a goofball comedy. It is to an extent, but then it gets serious. And sometimes when the bad guys are after the hero or the girl, and they have silence, but considering that this movie was made in the 60s and you have the static, sometimes the static can actually help scene more tensious than just having complete silence. Clearly that's not an intention, but just looking in a retrospective way, I don't think you need to get rid of it. You don't need to have silent editing or trying to update it. You can just leave it as this, and I think just by itself, it's beautiful the way it is. It's part of the Krypton Critics. I love you. That's right, bitch.